Hello, hello.
Happy Friday.
Thought I might have knocked my microphone off for a second there. Happy Friday, everybody. I'm also going to tune while I talk because that's something I can do. Happy Friday. Welcome to the Friday live stream. I see we've already got quite a few people jumping in, which is sick. Going to hit up L chat momentarily. I'm sure there's nothing annoying about me tuning up while I'm talking. I'm so used to playing guitars with Evertunes that I just don't know what I'm doing anymore. That's better. Happy Friday, again, part 2.
Yes.
Jake Trowbridge, Mr. Joe Balaguer, the
Hello.
man, the myth, the legend, founder of Balaguer Guitars and the finest brand of vegan leathers you've ever seen in your life.
Nope.
Right? Isn't that what you're doing? Leather work now?
Leatherwork, no.
Leatherwork?
No.
Who do we have here? John. Captured the thaw lamp. It goes crazy. Oh, sick. John also giving us a good segue into what we're going to talk about today, which is capturing a lot of what we're going to talk about today. And that's sick. I want to hear it. I haven't played it yet. I've only heard the clips. For those of you who don't know, there's a new thaw amp on the loose plug-in, and it sounds rad as hell. Very, very thaw. So yeah, John, we'll have to talk about that because I'd like to, if you don't mind sharing, I'd be curious to try it. What else do we have going on here? The Metal Climber, that's a sick name. Yo, letting my friend try my Diablo 8 right now. Sick.
Nice.
I think I know who you are, but I don't want to assume based on the fact that you have a Diablo 8. But yeah, we actually have another 8-string in the shop right now. We don't, I'd say, I'm totally out of pocket on this number, but maybe 10% of our builds are 8 strings. It's a relatively small percentage, but what I appreciate about 8-string players, at least when they do select custom stuff, is, and I've talked about this on the stream before, everything they do is like for them. They're not like, oh, I'm going to build a run-of-the-mill 8-string. It's like, no, if you're building an 8-string select custom, it's going to be tricked out. Like it's going to be for that player. It's not going to be basic. It's nothing like that, which is always super sick. So yeah, shout out to all the 8 players out there.
Yeah, the one we have now is like a 28.5-inch scale Typhon with an Evertune.
Yeah,
it's pretty gnarly.
Mixed hardware.
Yeah.
And like a maple board. It's super sick.
Yeah, it's on our Instagram.
Oh yeah, we did post it, didn't we?
Yeah.
Very cool. DPG, yo, what up? I love my Seraph 8. Hell yeah, you do.
Nice.
Man, we got all the freaking 8s in the chat today. I like that.
That must be Dylan, yeah.
I like that. The 8 gang. We hang out on the almost an 8 ball gang, but I don't want to like,
Interesting.
the forums and the general internet cloud hashtag 2025 bus in life is adrift, it seems, in the world of extended range guitars. And what I mean is there's a very interesting sort of swath of 7s, 8s, 9s, 10s out there. You may have seen, speaking of 9s, we've always done 7s. We started doing 8s a million years ago, but it wasn't from the jump. We recently added
9 strings, but not in the way that you're thinking.
Yes.
Not a extra low string beyond like an 8-string. So not an extra, I guess that would be what, a C sharp, something like that. No, we're talking about the unison version of the 9-string guitar. So the bottom 3 strings, the G, B, and E, are doubled as unison strings, as octave strings, similar to a 12-string guitar.
Yeah. So get your drone on.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The last 3 highest strings are doubled.
Yes.
Mastodon has used guitars like that. Matt Pike from High on Fire.
Yes.
Are a few to name. So yeah, go check it out in the builder. You have to have the Tune-o-matic bridge selected in order for it to become available.
Yes, one like these.
Yeah,
which we didn't do on purpose, but we are doing it.
In the string count area. So make sure you grab one of these bridges to activate that in the configurator.
Yes, do it. Or else the gods will find you. Kai, yo, what up? Mario coming in hot. Yeah, we just kind of went for it. I'll be honest, we were a little behind schedule getting started today because A, of the capturing, and B, because
Jake was acting like Shang Tsung.
Yeah, that was me. I was soul stealing left and right up here. Also, we didn't have I know everyone thinks that all we do is play guitars all day, and while that's half true, there is actual stuff that we do that isn't playing guitar. Somewhat unfortunately, although it can also be the coolest part of the business, and we were doing a bunch of that. So we were a little behind the 8 ball. There's that 8 ball thing again. And so we did come in hot. We didn't plan anything. We literally fired everything up. We got levels roughly set right before we jumped in at like 2:30 even. So if anything's wonky, tell us, because we kind of just dropped in on this one. Speaking of dropping in, any of y'all playing Red Sec? Shout out if you are. We've been messing around with that Battlefield. It's pretty sick. John, any plans on doing another ambient Espada run? Yes. Absolutely. In unison, they say. It will be 2026, but it will be here. We'll probably we're toying around with some riffs on the format. If nothing else, it will be different finishes than they were this year, at least some of them. But keep your eyes peeled. If you don't, shameless plug, if you don't subscribe to our newsletter, go to BalaguerGuitars.com and subscribe to our newsletter. There's a newsletter tab thing.
Yes.
You'll get notifications and all that stuff. Also, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, mostly subscribe to our YouTube, because in the live stream, we always talk about that stuff. And then follow us on Instagram at Balaguer Guitars, and then the BGFBDG. What was that?
I don't know.
There must not be a cab on whatever that was. That was wild.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Hey, do that one more time, but I'm going to turn the guitar mics on. I just want people to hear it. Sorry in advance if this totally shreds whatever you're listening through. 3, 2, 1.
It's turned off.
Joe chickened out at the last minute and didn't want to do it. Yeah,
I didn't do anything else besides switching between the two captures.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
Oh, that's wild.
It might be a buggy app thing or something.
Either that or Joe's hiding things from us.
Yeah, but I don't even think there's a way to turn off the cab via the flip switch.
I don't know. That's a good question. Well, There you go. I was trying to shred everybody, but I guess not. It's your lucky day, peeps. So, yes, we will be doing one, John. Keep an eye out. John says, send me your... Yes, we will do that. And we'll talk.
Do what?
John Vocal was saying QC accounts, Cortex Cloud. Yeah, for the record, there is a Balaguer Guitars, an official Balaguer Guitars Cortex Cloud account.
That's right.
It is at Balaguer Guitars. The logo is the BG logo, the Balaguer Circle logo. A bunch of stuff that we've recorded, including if you've ever seen our pickup demos on YouTube, the tones that we used to record those demos.
All available.
And a bunch of other cool amp captures that we've done, all available through the Balaguer Guitars Cortex Cloud. So check that out. Mine, for the record, is at Jacus Urungus. You might see it around. Also, my tag in almost every forum. If you ever see me floating around, say hi. But yes, John, that would be sick. Oh, Gianluca, sick. Okay, I thought so. I wasn't sure. I really like your tag, but good to hear from you, dude. It's been a second. We already did that. Dave, yo, what's up, Dave? Dave and I were talking earlier. We're gonna get you taken care of, dude. Don't sweat it. High Wind. Oh, yo, what's up, Jordan?
Hey, what's
Happy
up,
Friday. We have some Jordan-related things to talk about in a minute.
That's right.
Which is kind of fun. For anyone who doesn't know high wind amplification, whether they're Direwolf boost, which has become like a staple in certainly the high gain community, super sick boost pedal, and then the Torrent, which is the amp that Jordan just released through Highwind, which is super sick. And we may or may not have some captured tones to play today, which we'll shout out in a bit.
Yes.
So hold on to your butts. Kai says, Evertune ambient Espada. Every time. I like it. Every time Evertune.
Yeah. Also, shout out to Kai for dropping that video today using his Mitch 6 baritone. Yeah, good shout. By the way, Kai has an absolutely stellar YouTube channel that he's featured some of our stuff on throughout the years. And he also features a whole bunch of other killer gear. Tones are always sick. So check it out. Yes.
But yeah, that was a sick vid, Kai. Thanks for featuring the Mitch in that guitar, in that video. Thanks for featuring the video in that Mitch guitar. It was sick.
Thanks for featuring that, Mitch.
We're gonna tell Mitch you did that. He's gonna be like, "Damn, that's
how dare you feature me?
how dare you feature me?" Yeah, right. Mitch is like the nicest guy in the world. Other things that we have going on. The upcoming runs.
Yes.
So shout out to a couple of cool things that will be coming through the shop very soon. The first of which is the Devin Scheidecker Diablo DS7.
That's right.
Which I'm happy to say we are sold out of. But the DS7 is Devin's new signature guitar.
Yep.
So you're probably familiar with his, if you follow the brand or follow Acacia Strain or Devin, you'll know that he had a signature Tartarus and then a signature Typhon in 6, 7, and 8 strings. And he kind of wanted to combine everything that he loved about those guitars into a super high spec premium 7-string Diablo. And that's what it is, the Diablo DS7. So
Yes.
Solid flame maple top, custom finish of his that he designed. His pickups, his cauterizer in the bridge, cauterizer humbucker, and then a cauterizer single coil in the neck. The only place you can get that right now. Mm-hmm. Pale Moon Ebony board, 5-piece oil and wax finished neck. Like I said, 7-string, the extreme headstock.
Yeah.
What am I? I feel like I'm missing stuff.
Check it out on today's Instagram post because it has all the nitty-gritty details on there with the full spec sheet, spec list rather. And yeah, those are completed and are on their way to us. So
yes,
we're going to start QCing them, getting them out hopefully sometime early next month after the holiday.
Yep.
And yeah, super stoked to have done that with Devin, and I'm sure it's going to be the first of many iterations of that guitar.
Yes.
Within the next, handful of months to a year. And
yeah, it is very cool.
Very excited. And besides that, we have our 10th anniversary run that's completing this month as well.
Indeed.
So if none of you, or if any of you are unaware of that run, to commemorate our 10 years in business.
That's this year.
Yes, we decided to kind of look back as well as look forward to the most popular specs, as well as the most popular models for Balaguer guitars, and put them together in a run that kind of showcases all of that in one place. So the Growler guitar, the Espada, and 2 basses, the Goliath bass and the Diablo bass. And those are all available in 2 variations, a classic and a modern. And in the modern variations, the Growler comes in 30-inch scale, the Espada comes in 27-inch scale.
The bass is multi-scale.
Yeah, the bass is multi-scale, and then the classic variations are 25.5-inch scale for the Espada and the Growler, and 34-inch scale for the Goliath bass, which is a conventional scale. So yeah, go check it out on our website.
Yeah, they're super sick. They are available for pre-order now. They are coming in hot on the heels of the DS7, so those should be arriving early December.
Yes.
And then we'll start QCing them as soon as we're done with the DS7s, and those will be making their way out. I think there's a handful of each left, with the exception of the Growler Moderns. I believe those are sold out.
Yeah.
Somewhat predictably. But both for the DS7s and for the 10th anniversary runs, I know most people know this, but just in case you don't, we typically keep some percentage of the run with us for B-stock. So if something arrives at the shop, it gets damaged in transit, we have something that we can replace it with so that no orders get canceled or missed or anything. If we don't need those, so if everything arrives A-stock, we will then have stock available.
Yep.
So if you missed your chance on the stuff that's sold out, or if stuff sells out, or if you're waiting for a sweet time or whatever, hint, you won't be waiting very long.
Yep.
But with that, there will be more made available once we go through everything. So keep an eye out. We just want to make sure that we get all the orders covered first.
For sure.
That wasn't a bad segue. We have a couple of things. We kind of wanted to tease something where, not kind of, we want to tease something, which is those of you who have been friends of Balaguer for a minute know that around this time of year, we typically do something because we're living in a capitalist hellscape, and we choose to not subscribe to capitalist hellscape nonsense. So we try to combat other things with available stuff for you. So keep an eye out in the next week or so. around the Thanksgiving holiday if you're in the US of A, the end of November if you're not in the US of A. And we have some things that you, I'm sure, expect, and some things that I can assure you you do not. In fact, I can assure you there is 0% chance that anybody knows about some of the things we're going to be doing.
That's right.
So keep your eyeballs peeled. Keep them in your head. Keep your eyelids open, the balls peeled.
Keep them all open.
Yes, peeled balls.
Everything open.
Yes. Yes.
Your mind, your eyes.
Your orifices.
Yeah, no, it's next week is going to be exciting for
Yeah.
numerous reasons, both for what we're going to offer, as well as what we've been planning. That is going to be a very limited thing. So very excited. Tune in around midweek and all shall be revealed.
Yes, what he said. What else? Let's see. Kai, lots of hearts. Love right back at you, dude.
Nice.
John says, semi-custom anomaly you guys refinish is sick. Shout out.
Appreciate it.
Man, John, you're just a segue monster. You need to be in every chat. So that's something cool.
Which John is this? Vocal?
Vocal.
Oh,
If you haven't done your research, because that's what people do, they research us, BalaguerGuitars.com, or our Wikipedia page,
yes,
which is pretty accurate at this point after much revision. You'll know that we recently announced something that we called the Modified Series, which is basically, it's not even a series, that's kind of overstating it. Modified, which modified is, we might get a production guitar in that gets damaged in transit. We might get a select custom order that gets canceled or damaged. Things change, sometimes mistakes happen, and instead of those guitars just sort of going to waste in some way, which we would never let happen, and we've never let happen, but in this case, we wanted to do something more than just like repair it and resell it.
Yeah.
We wanted to do something special. So Joe had the idea of calling it Modified and doing this Modified Series thing where whether it's a production or a select custom example would be the anomaly that we posted about that John is referencing, where it was damaged in transit. Joe and Dee stripped D's QC Tech, Dee Horvath. They sanded everything down, prepped the guitar for refin, and Joe's been working on the refin with them to get everything ready. And it's sick. It's a black burst, a natural black burst, and then see-through black burst, and it has a Purple Heart fingerboard. So it's this cool like purple on black combo, which I don't think anyone's ever done. I can't think of anyone ever doing it.
At least through our select custom series, for sure. Yeah.
Oh, I don't mean ever in the history of the world, but maybe, I don't know. Either way, it's sick. Thanks, John. But that's something we've been doing. So keep an eye out. Again, subscribe to everything. Follow us everywhere. And you'll see us post about that stuff. The guitar will be for sale, as well as, all the other guitars that we do like that. It's just kind of a fun little, it's a cool project in the shop where mostly Joe and Dee, but all of us can kind of chip in on something that's new and unique and completely unique. Yeah, pretty sick. Very excited for that DS7. Sold a bunch of other 7 strings to get it.
Nice.
Yeah, it's definitely, they're crazy sick. It's a top tier thing. And I know we've had, it's the most expensive select series guitar we've ever done. So made in Korea and $21.99. But like, that's not us on Devin's coattails. The guitar is that premium. And in my humble opinion, I know I'm biased, take it with a grain of salt, but for $2,200, that guitar will destroy most everything else. If you're into that style of thing.
The premium woods alone are why we price it where we price it at.
Yeah.
The thick flame maple top, they're actually sourced from the United States. 5-piece roasted flame maple walnut necks.
Oil and wax finish, hand finish.
Yeah, pale moon ebony fingerboards. Like, it's all very premium specs. And
Hipshot Ibby bridge, I forgot to say that.
Hipshot Ibby bridge, Hipshot tuners.
Oh yeah,
stainless steel frets. So it's
a monster of a guitar.
It is, and I think there's a reason why they're pretty much all gone at this point.
Yes, that's true. We have the handful for B-stock coverage, but that's it. So keep an eye out if you want one. Kai says Peeled Orifices is my favorite Sanguimancy album. Yes, he knows. I try my best to show up so that I can hit y'all with the script for today's stream. Yeah, my bad. I know I send it to you late sometimes, but I appreciate it. I do. Dave says, nah, change your wiki page. It now connects you to various criminal organizations. I hope none of them are the ones we're actually involved in. Oh, wait. Great commercial. Won't you please adopt one of these orphaned guitars?
Wow.
Not even kidding. That's what Mario said. So, Mario, there's something extra funny about that. And I have to tell you the story, which is, I won't say who, but let's just say someone began calling guitars that were unfinished for whatever reason, if there was like a knot in the wood that was uncovered later, or something went wrong in the finishing process or whatever. Someone started calling them orphaned guitars, and we hate that. I know we'll never hear the end of it now that I've said that, but oh man, orphaned guitars. It just sounds so sad. We laugh about it, but that is sort of what they are, and yes, they will be available to you at a good price for what is a sick custom piece. But that's wild, Mario, that you would say that. So thank you for making the stream for me. Dave says, I thought that album was called Peeled Oranges, only when Joe's playing through his orange cabs, which he isn't today.
What are we playing through, though?
So there we go. Look at that. Boy, we are on the Segway freaking choo-choo train today.
That's right.
Choo. So the entire point of this stream, what we wanted to talk about, QCs, the Quad Cortex, and it could be any other thing that does this thing. We just tend to prefer the Quad Cortex for whatever reason. Not just because the people we know who work there are cool as hell and are always good to us, but because we bought all the units ourselves way early on and fell in love with them long before we really had any relationship with them. Yeah. So it's been a great setup. And as everybody knows, we've been trying to make a little more of an effort to shout out people that we like, companies that do a good job, all of that stuff. And if you have ever seen a Balaguer live stream, you have seen or heard of the Quad Cortex, because it is that amazing for us. I am playing the full-size Quad Cortex. Joe is playing the Nano Cortex. Yep. And something that these units do, if you're unaware, which, like I said, you can do this with a Kemper, you can do this with the new Axe effects. There are companies that do similar things, but at least in my opinion, the neural stuff is the most accurate. When the Quad Cortex does it, it's the most accurate. Yeah, and
for sure.
That's just to my ear. Everyone has different taste. But
no, I would agree with that for sure.
But this is what you can do is capture something. Everyone has their own name for it, but neural calls it capturing. So, for instance, as a matter of fact, you can turn that off, by the way. I left Joe's amp on accident when I was
That's what was burning.
Yeah. I thought it was just Joe's ass on fire.
Nope. Just an expensive amp.
Just an expensive amp. If it can't handle that, it's not worth the price.
That's right.
So, for instance, Marshall Plexi Modified, one of the sickest amps I've ever played / owned. It rules. Marshall JCM 800, the OG. That's the reissue, but the OG. Yep. Let's say you like the sound of these amps. Let's say you want them to sound like they're on 10 without being at a volume that kills everybody. You can do something like, I don't know if I can show it. You won't be able to see it, but there's a 2Notes Captor X right there. You could use a load box like a Captor X or the Mesa IR Plus that we have over there. A lot of people like the Sur reactive load. A lot of people like the aux box, the UA Audio aux box, or the Boss Waza amp expander. Right. All of those things are load boxes because you can't run most amps without a cabinet or something to absorb what the amp thinks is a cabinet. Right. And that's what a load box does. It doesn't hurt the amp because it allows the signal out of the amp, simulating a cab. That is not the same thing as a digital cab sim. I mean, within the unit, there's actual physical hardware that takes the resistive load from the amp and keeps it from damaging itself if you don't have a cab plugged in. But you can run those and turn the volume down, which is cool. It's another thing to carry, and which is not a knock on them, but if you're going to go all in, something like this, what you can do, for instance, what we did was I took the Plexi, I captured it stock, I captured it with a boost in front of it, I captured it with 2 boosts in front of it, I captured it with an EP3 preamp in front of it. So instead of having to tap dance through all those things, or if I'm in the studio and I'm looking for a whole bunch of sounds, I have the captures of the actual amp set up the way that I would have it set up.
Yep.
I can run that through a digital cab sim, and to my ear, I mean, it's there. It's just the sound.
Yeah, you're 98% there.
Yeah, even the bad captures are 90% of the way there. And the good ones are so close that, man, it's just, it's wild.
Yeah.
And we've talked about that before. We're not going to harp on like how good it is, but it is very good.
Yeah.
We actually did a stream on digital versus analog and sort of like when you might use each. TLDR, they're both super good. It just depends on your use case. And what makes you happy.
Yep.
Because as guitar players, we just want to be happy. It's all about that dopamine, though.
Yep.
That's why we play music and suffer from gas. Guitar acquisition syndrome for anyone who doesn't.
Yeah.
But we spent some time doing some capturing. If you've ever heard us use the quad cortexes before, you've probably heard captures of amps that we've owned that we love. Because while the models in the QC are sick, in our opinion, the captures of the thing sound more accurate. And that's what we like to do.
Yeah.
So today we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how easy it is, because it's literally like 4 cables. You plug it all in, you hit a go button, it makes a bunch of beeps and boops, and then you save it.
Yep.
And that's it. So if you like an amp, let's say a JCM 800 or a Plexi, amps that don't channel switch, amps that you like to boost. Let's say you're running a Mesa Mark II C+. Let's say you're running, you know, it could even be something that is multi-channel, like let's say a Victory Kraken, and you want to have multiple settings of each channel. I'm thinking of the Victory Kraken, A, because it's a ripping amp, and B, because Kai was playing it the other day. You can do all that. You can capture all those sounds, and with one touch of a button, you switch the settings on the amp because you've gone to a different capture, and you can change effects and all that stuff at one time.
Yep.
So the unit basically takes the place of the pedal board and the amp, but you're using the sounds from the amp to do it. Very sick. And I think we've still got sound. I think we should play a little bit. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna play a little bit. I'm gonna let you play a little bit. Maybe we'll jam a little bit. So for me, if you've heard us do the live stream thing, you've heard me use the JP2C. Everyone knows that the Mark stuff, Mesa Mark amps, especially the JP2C, the 2C Plus, to me, they are up. They're the pinnacle for certainly for high gain tones, higher gain tones, and also for modern cleans. So I'll run through my sound. What you'll hear is a Mesa JP2C captured clean, a Plexi, this Plexi, boosted up front with a brown protein, the Mesa JP2C high gain setting, and then a Mesa JP2C lead setting. All of those things are different settings on the amp that I've captured at different times. So just to show you what it sounds like this. So
Sounds sweet.
I think so. And I think had we had more time, I might have set up a more diverse palette of tones. But the idea being that you can set up all of this stuff. I mean, there are 8 switches on the freaking thing. You could set up 8 different amps.
Yeah.
Because what's wild is the modelers in the thing take up a bunch of DSP.
Yeah.
Captures don't. So you could have like literally freaking stereo amp rigs with different amps, with 4 or 5, 6 different amps across 8 different presets, and it absolutely rules.
What was the third sound that you did? The higher
JP2C.
gain. Okay.
Yeah,
I could tell the immediate difference.
bigness.
Yeah, the immediate bloom and everything.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I think it sounds super sick. Yes, choo choo. Sarah McLaughlin is writing a song for right now. Sick. Let's see. How long of a learning curve would you say the QC took? We're gonna get to Joe's tones in a second too. I didn't forget, but how long of a learning curve would you say the QC took? I struggled with my Kemper when I had it. To me, one of the big things that separates the QC from all of the other units is how easy it is to use.
Yeah. Plus, there's so many great YouTube videos at this point about how to use this.
Yeah.
Either unit really.
If you're the kind of person who likes a more tactile, you have one screen and you use like to me, I've had a Line 6 Helix, I've had a Kemper, I've not owned a Fractal, but I've played them, including the FMs, and like they're all great. It's definitely, there's no shade in any of them. It's just a different UI. But the Quad Cortex, to me, as someone who was sort of late to adopt this stuff because I just didn't feel right about it, it is the easiest one to use, in my opinion. Now, I have seen the new Helix Stadium stuff, and it looks super legit. So that might give it a run for its money. But for my money, the QC is the best. I would say if you want to just jump in and go, it's pretty straightforward. Yeah. You could watch a 20-minute YouTube video and then feel good about the basics. You know, getting a signal chain together with amps, effects, setting it up for each stomp, just for easy stuff. Yeah. And then as you learn more and more, you get into the routing. Like for instance, I have mine set up where I have one signal going out to the DAW so that, or to the interface and into the DAW so that I have a signal going out for the live stream. My other signal is a live signal. So I could run out to front of house and then back to cabs for stage sound or room sound, monitor sound, if I wanted to. Yeah. Which we do often. So that sort of thing is very cool. The routing of it, once you get into that, is super easy. They've thought about a lot of things where you have global noise gates, so you don't have to take up a block for that stuff. There's all sorts of wild stuff on the full-size QC that I think is pretty easy. Even easier to use is the Nano Cortex.
Yeah, and I think the cool thing about the Nano, especially recently, you know, Neural just released all of the amp captures that they had available on the Quad Cortex are now available for the Nano for completely free. And they also do something cool that I just realized the other week is they started doing curated amp packs on their website and through the Cortex Cloud or whatever it's called, where
that is what it's called.
The JCM 800 is a good example. They posted about this the other day. They just compiled all of their JCM 800 captures into one pack that you can download. Yeah. And it's completely free because it's captures that they put together. So
yeah. And it's worth saying that on the Cortex Cloud, which is where your account goes, which is where everyone's captures go if they make them public and upload them to the cloud, you can just download all that stuff for free. If there's an amp capture, we're speaking about captures, right? Let's say you like the amp model for something, but you want to hear other people's captures of it, whether with a cab or without. You can go to the Cortex Cloud, search it, and there are likely going to be quite a few of them. And you can just download them, audition them, delete the ones you don't like, keep the ones that you do, and have a plethora of sounds from whatever amp you like the most.
Yeah, for sure.
And the Nano Cortex specifically, which also captures at the same bit rate using the same technology as the full-size Quad Cortex, basically the only thing that's different about the Nano is A, it's smaller, and B, you're limited in your effects. Yeah. So essentially they give you a noise gate a front end modulation, then you have the amp compression, amp blocks, delay, and reverb.
Yeah.
So I would argue any effect you would ever need, because you can also preset the effects to change per preset,
Yeah.
per scene. You have to go in and do it in the app, and then when you switch, boom, it automatically changes all of that stuff.
Yeah, the biggest thing besides the visual UI of not having a screen is you're just limited on your signal chain. That's what it comes down to.
Yep.
Like you have less room to put a bunch of stuff on. But if you're like me and you're just kind of a meat and potato, like I just want the amp, some delay and reverb, and that's it.
Yeah.
You're going to be able to achieve 90% of what you want to do. And then you can have a weird, octaver sound as well.
Yes.
Because they do have pitch ability on there now too. So it really is like, as far as best bang for your buck.
Yeah. Wow.
From a amp capturing modeler type of standpoint,
yeah.
It's hard to beat it for under $600 USD, something like that. It's incredible to be able to hear a capture on that, the full blown quad cortex, and then hear the capture on this, and it sounded exactly the same.
Yeah.
The fidelity of the actual tone doesn't change, so it's hard to argue that.
Yeah, that was the last thing I was going to say before we hear it and Joe hit it, which is we've compared it. We've downloaded the same capture on both of them, and we've captured the same thing with both of them, and they sound identical.
Yep.
So it's wild. Again, for like basically $500, you get something that is that powerful. It's nuts.
And that's why we bring it to trade shows. Anytime we're at the NAM show, Guitar Summit recently in Germany, like we're always just rocking the Nano Cortex or the Quad Cortex, because it's just
the Nano's nice because you can just like set it up and go, and people aren't up there like getting all their whatever ate my chocolate bar fingers all over it.
Yeah, looking at the screen and getting enveloped into that. So,
but it is seriously, the Nano Cortexes are sick. I mean, they're both sick.
Yeah.
One of the things that I like the most about them is the size factor, because both of them are able to be transported, put on a pedal board, anything like that, in a way that a lot of units are not. But enough of that. Let's hear what the Nano Cortex sounds like.
Yeah, so real quick, I just want to go over what I have on here. The JCM 800 that Jake was talking about behind me, the first capture I'll play is just bare bones, nothing in front of it, just the amplifier. It's like a mid-gainy type of sound. And then I'll go through the same amp, but boosted with the Walrus Audio Voyager, which is like a Klon style overdrive.
It's like a better version of a Klon.
And the special capture that I'm excited to show you guys is our good buddy Jordan that we were talking about before, high wind amplification, the Torrent 50 amplifier. I don't know too much about like the topology of the amp, and maybe Jordan can kind of chime in the chat and answer some questions if anyone does have them. But it is a capture of that amplifier done by our friend Draven.
Speaking of killer YouTube channels.
Yeah, his neural name is xdravenx. So if you do want to follow what he has going on the neural side of things, definitely go follow him there.
Yeah, and check out his YouTube channel, Draven Noir.
Yes.
Lots of really crazy cool high gain amp demos and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I'm playing my Hyperion Select from years and years ago. This was one of Fluff's personal guitars.
Shout out to the man Fluff.
Yeah, and this guitar has something special about it that I'm not going to talk about just yet, but you'll hear more about that next week. So
yeah, just remember, if you drop it, you need to pick it up.
Yes, pick it up. All right, ready?
All right, let's hear it. Woo, brother.
Yeah, that last one was the Torrent 50. So
yeah, wow, damn, that thing sounds good.
yeah,
There's
it's
a
sick.
when Joe hit that big harmonic at the end. There's a video out there. Jordan may even have posted it of Joe playing the high wind, the Torrent, the prototype Torrent at NAMM earlier this year.
Yeah.
And there's I don't know who was filming, but either way, Joe sits down and he's playing and he hits that first big chord in a harmonic, and you hear someone go, "Oh shit!" in the background.
That was a fun time. It was like one of the only times I got to get away from our booth for a little bit and check something out selfishly that I wanted to check out, which was Jordan's amp. And yeah, it was the Heritage Espada with the Seymour Duncan Colossal Incantation pickup, which is 46K resistance. And man, that amp sounded incredible in person. So very excited to dive into the other captures, because Draven, when Draven captures an amp, you can rest assured that if you're paying for any of his packs or anything like that, you're getting your money's worth, because you will get 20 or 30 captures of just like every instance of that amplifier. So you can really,
and with different boosts.
Yeah, with different boosts. Like that one was actually, and I forgot to mention, sorry, the Torrent capture that I just played was boosted by the Dire Wolf.
Oh damn! High wind on high wind.
Yeah, that Jordan also makes. So yes, Torrent 50 boosted by the Dire Wolf, and yeah, it's just super aggressive.
And Jordan says, by the way, the Torrent uses the topology of the 2204.
Oh,
so
cool.
The 50-watt version of the JCM 800.
Yeah.
Which, shout out, I own an 83 2204.
Nice.
And those amps are so sick. If you've ever played, like the Torrent, I'm sure, but even other amps that do, like for instance, the JP2C, where you can switch it from 100 watts to 60 watts, when you drop that wattage, you typically get a bit more of kind of everything. Like the whole sound kind of gets crunchier, tighter, a little more aggressive. And you can hear that in that tone. Like, you know, if you play a full-size JCM 800, it has a fatness and like it moves air, and some might even say it's flubby in certain ways compared to the 50-watt version. So you can definitely hear, and shout out Jordan, you know, we knew it was sick, but we're glad it's still sick. You know, that sound, that tight, aggressive, man, it just sounds ripping. It really does.
Yeah, there's something about amps that have, whether you want to call it a topology or the DNA, like is kind of inspired by those types of amps. I mean, I just love, that's why that, you know, the Wizard clone back there, the, you know, unofficial Balaguer amp, it definitely shares that same topology. So yeah, I'm excited to dive a bit deeper into the whole Torrent thing. And Jesse, business partner at Balaguer, he also has a Torrent 50 on order. So he's going to have an actual Torrent in his arsenal, which is awesome. Will be sick.
Speaking of captures, because he has a QC, and we'll get a bunch of captures of it from him too.
That's right. Going to pressure him into doing it.
You'll have to share that one with me, because that's sick. Draven may have already shared it with me.
I think he did. Yeah.
It's so sick. So Dave also says, what's the point in using an amp without causing audio death? And that's a fair point. People can rag on loud amps all they want. And it's, what I will say though, is it's not just amps. Because one of the special things about using a good setup with a modeler is you get all the volume without the negatives of cranking the amp up. And by negatives, I don't just mean like literally murdering people in the front row.
Yeah.
I also mean, as you turn a tube amp, no tube amp sounds good on 10. Like, it just, by itself, it doesn't exist. It gets so flubby, the power amp saturation is over the top. Unless the amp is specifically designed to handle it, and even then, it almost never sounds great. So having the ability to record it at the right volume and then basically just raise or lower that without changing the gain is one of the beauty of captures in general. But yes, don't get me wrong, happy to destroy people with an amplifier, because it is a very special feeling.
I think that is probably the main difference, or the main point is, if you have an amp and you have a modeler,
Yeah,
and you're
different use
not and you're
cases.
not touring the world and you're just jamming with friends or something, like sometimes you just want that extra 2% of feel,
Yeah, or whatever.
or whatever bloom in the room, or whatever
Yeah,
you want to call it, that
because
only an amp can kind of satisfy.
the power amp makes a huge difference. That's why I say when you plug these things into a good setup,
Yeah.
because if you're using shit power, it's not going to sound great. It sounds great direct in because there's no power amp in the equation. But when you plug into stuff, the power amp or whatever you're plugging into makes a big difference. If you're super curious about that stuff, go watch the That Pedal Show video where they change preamps and power amps and cabs on a couple of things,
Yeah.
running the preamp of some amps into the power amps of other amps and vice versa. Famous trick used by Metallica where they would run the JP2C or the Mark II C plus into the power amp of a Marshall, right?
Yeah,
Like
they were slaving a lot of different
you
things.
get
Yeah.
you slave the preamp into the power amp of something else, and
Yeah.
it changes the tone dramatically. And certain power amps have a greater impact on the tone. So when you use something like, for us, I like the Seymour Duncan Power Stage 170. We have the Power Stage 700 over there.
Mhm.
They both rip. They're great as bass lines for us. High quality, high volume, easily jam with a band. Could destroy a band with it if you wanted to. But have a good fidelity without costing like $2,000 freaking.
I'll tell you what, the time that you put your quad cortex through the Marshall, we did that the
Yeah.
other week. It was like the
Ooh, what a sound.
ultimate. It was the ultimate synergy of like what that extra 1.5 to 2% of like feel,
Yeah, it's
and
very
like
sick.
in the room visceral reaction of playing a tube amplifier, but then the flexibility of having something like the QC on the ground. It's like it's a bit much, I guess, from like a value perspective, but like there are a ton of
Well, Polyphia does it. Rabia
well, yeah.
Masad does it.
I was just gonna say there's a ton of tube amplifier or tube based power amps available out there that a lot of people use, like KSR. Shout out to Kyle Rhodes.
The PA50.
He does a ton of really cool, especially most recently, like rack mountable tube power amps. There's Fryette, there's Mesa Boogie, there's a whole bunch of them out there, and it definitely
Shout
if you
out to
got
Steve Fryette.
yeah, if you got the coin and you want to go balls out with
All
that
in,
kind of stuff,
yeah.
like it will sound incredible.
Yeah. Kai says QC is the easiest I've tried, but I'll say the Helix Stadium is probably easier. Yeah, I'm curious to try it, and you may be right. But yeah, the QC is the easiest we've tried as well. Dave says, is it like Pokemon? Yeah, it is. Got to catch them all, except you're stealing their souls.
That's right.
Got to capture them all. There it is. You going to be sharing those captures, Kai says? Yeah, dude. Anything you want. I mean, anyone can always reach out to us. We do share a bunch. We will share probably the gained up version of each of these, because why not?
Yeah.
We kind of share our favorite from each amp with a couple of other things. So yeah, be sure to check it out. Haziel, yo, on the treadmill and there's a live stream? Hell yeah. That's what I like to hear.
Get that
2 birds
sweat.
with 1 stone, baby. Yeah, work it out. Mario, will you be comparing them to presets built into the QC? Not today, but that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Because it's something that, well, I tell you what, I can actually.
I'm telling you that we should, separate of the Friday live streams, there should be like a tone stream or something.
Maybe every other Friday.
Yeah.
Shout out if you like that idea.
Yeah.
No, I'll tell you what, I do have that set up. I'll play the Mesa JP2C high gain rhythm tone that I captured, and then I'll switch to the modeler, which I also have set up to try. So why not? Yeah, we'll do it for fun. Good shout, Mario. Let's check it out. I'm going to start with the capture and then go to the model. So there you go.
Yeah, I feel like the capture just is, even in the room, like
It's more present.
it's almost like you're taking a blanket off the speaker.
Yeah.
And I think the model could probably be tweaked to be even closer to the capture.
Yeah.
But the capture just has that realistic
it does.
sound to it.
And good shout. But there you go. Quick reference. So back and forth on a bit of that. Sorry, it took me a second to navigate. I went the wrong way. But it's there. So there you go. Sick tones, very 80s, 90s, which I love. Thank you, dude. I have a Line 6 HX Stomp, which I hate. Gonna probably get a QC. I actually think the HX Stomp was the first thing to do the compact thing, sort of like the Nano Cortex, in a way that I would actually use. I've heard some great HX Stomp stuff, but I agree. I do think that if you want something that does maybe a little more, that the QC is a better choice. Also, if you want to spend less and use sort of a smaller setup, the Nano, they the Line 6 sort of splits them. The HX Stomp.
Plus the Bluetooth connectivity with the Neural app on your smartphone
makes it super easy.
Makes it so easy to just like download new captures without having to fiddle with your device, really. So something to keep in mind as well as like a UI thing.
I also think that there's something to be said for, like, I'm not that person who does the Bluetooth thing. I don't like it with the Nano. I don't like it with the captor initially. And then I do it for the first time and I'm like, what the hell is wrong with me? It was the same thing with the Quad Cortex. I was like, I don't get it. It's so hyped and it's so annoying. And then Joe got one or had one and I played it and I was like, oh my God, this is the way. And it's like that. It seems weird. So all I have to say is, for all of the, even if you're not a technophobe, because that's not me, but if you're the kind of person who just doesn't want to do that stuff, doesn't want to deal with that crap, this really does sort of remove all of the barriers to complaining about that stuff. It's so easy to use that, I mean, anyone could do it, and it rips.
Yeah, they really made it easy.
Yeah. Unreal coincidence, Kai says, I dropped a clip with the Mitch 6 and Draven's torrent capture in my video today.
Oh, nice.
Oh, sick. Hell yeah.
I think I saw that, actually.
Clip is legendary, Kai says. Yeah, that was a wild one. And Jordan says, appreciate the shout out, and hearing the Espada at Nan made him want one. That's why he ended up getting one of the Duncan Colossal Incantations. So shout out. Haziel says, any news on badges for NAM? Hit us up. We can talk. And we hope to see you there, dude. I know you were there last year. I know you said you were going to be there this year. I hope you are, this coming year. Jesse Parks! I've got a torrent on the way, and I'm super stoked to try it out. And I've got a 78-2204 that I love as well.
Yes.
Yo, we know that guy, Jesse Parks. He's a cool guy.
That's right.
And shout out. I don't know if he commented that before you said that he had one on order or the other way around. But,
I don't know.
Thanks for dropping in, dude. I just got here and we're talking torrents, 2204, Hyperion Red. I feel like I'm missing a great live stream today. Nah, dude. We can always catch you up on the flip side, on the flippity flop.
That's right.
Catch you on the flippity flop.
I think we should play a Sanguimancy song.
Deacon Flicka. Mario says there's a definite difference, and I'm sure it's because the captures are dialed in way better. HX Stomp sounds real good. Usability is fiddly. Yeah, that I have heard that. And I think you're right, Mario. It's easier to dial in that stuff for what it is. Dialing it in on the QC is like, I've dialed it in through the cab, which I think the models are really built to be run digitally, where you have that super clean signal. When you introduce the power amp and stuff, they tend to get a little fat sounding. So, not that they don't work, because they do, but it's a little different. I do think the captures tend to sound better.
You know what does work?
What works?
Playing together and playing Sanguimancy.
Because we're friends. All right, let's do it.
There you
we
go.
Not too bad. Not too bad. Not too bad. Oh boy. Jordan says instant stank face. Yeah,
Nice.
it's boy, those riffs are fun to play. You should hire a session drummer and bassist for these streams. Joe going absolutely ballistic on that solo. Yeah, Joe.
I just want to be in a black metal band. Can someone
Yeah.
please let me join their black metal band?
I'm over here like throwing my best prog riff over metal stuff because sometimes that is over my head. But yeah, Joe knows how to riff.
We just need to start sanguimancy for real.
We might have to.
And we need to wear outfits or something.
I like
we're vampire hunters or something.
So what I will do for funsies, just because we have the technology and we can rebuild him, is I'm going to play a couple of other capture sounds because I can. Because I've got them here and they're loaded up.
Let's do it.
Because that's the beauty of the QC. So first, the Driftwood. If you don't know, the Driftwood is probably my favorite, like, true high gain amp. Where every time I hear it, I flip and love it. These captures are from Tone Junkie, and they absolutely rip. I have both the Signature, which is the EL34 version, and the Purple Nightmare, and the Darkest Nightmare, so not both, all three captures from him.
Not to be confused with Stable Plastic.
Yeah, got him. And they're so sick. And what's crazy is, like, I end up using one for the clean sound, one for the crunch, one for the gain, one for the lead. But, like, I'll just run through them real quick so you can hear it. These are all captures of the Driftwood. You could pay someone $20 for this, and it's like having a freaking Driftwood in your QC.
It's true.
Does it compare to playing the real amp? In some ways, maybe not. But does it sound the same? Yes, it does. And the QC freaking rips for this kind of stuff. So back to captures here. I'll run through them real quick. Apparently I'm supposed to tell you what I'm playing through.
Your guitar.
My guitar. I should talk about it. This is, speaking of new things, this is our Belmont model, which you'll probably recognize the shape and this really cool arm carve, which is ours. And yeah, super sick. It has a ferrule in the bridge. It has mahogany body and neck, question mark? Or alder body maple neck?
No, it's mahogany,
no.
mahogany.
With a ferrule bridge pickup, two-pneumatic bridge, so I'm very much at home with this setup.
Rich light board.
Rich light board and block inlays with the green burst, metallic green burst. It's super sick. And it sounds like this with the Driftwood stuff. There you go. Boy, that's inspiring to play.
It just sounds so saturated, but not muddy. Like the gain's just there for you.
Boy, that's fun. I love playing that. And like I said, that's sort of the beauty, right? Is you need 3 different Driftwood amps to do what I just did.
Yeah.
Because I'm using 3 different Driftwood amps to get those sounds. So the capture thing means I can capture my favorite sounds of them and then plug them in.
And those are ones you just downloaded off Neural, right?
No, those are from Tone Junkie.
Oh, right.
So those are purchase packs.
Amp Guru.
Or sorry, Amp Guru. I said Tone Junkie earlier, who also rips. My bad. Amp Guru has these packs, and they're so good. And yeah, I love the driftwood stuff. For me, for like the true high gain sound, they're so sick. It's like a lot of people have said this, but it's kind of like a dual rec and a 5150 had like a weird left
I can hear that for sure.
But it rips. Silvera, okay, bro, I see you. Thanks, man. Yeah, I've been on a bit of a Gojira kick lately. I'll do another one just for funsies. Joe's going to be mad at me for this one because I think he would want to do this one.
Why am I going to be mad at you? Oh, hell yeah. I'm not going to be mad.
So this is, I'm not going to, this is my JP2C clean crunch and lead, but the high gain sound is a Herbert Mark III, Dietzel Herbert Mark III, which is, for the record, one of the best high gain sounds ever created. It's every time I hear one,
I'm not going to argue with that.
Absolutely blown away. But this is what it sounds like.
Dude, the bass response
insane.
with that capture, it's probably hard to translate through the camera, through the audio here, but in the room, it just sounds like a wall of tone in hell.
And we have just such it's such a dumb,
so good.
Not dumb. I mean, it's a JBL powered monitor, powered speaker that we use as a monitor.
Right.
But even out of that, the amount of low end that Dietzel Herbert capture produces is like, it'll shake the freaking fillings out of your teeth. It's so much low.
Which is a testament for how
so good.
For how accurately the QC captured that amp.
Yes.
Because in the room, like we had that actual amp here at one point, and it just, I was skeptical of how like those types of characteristics of that specific amp would translate in a capture, because it's really like unlike any other amp I've ever played before. Just from a standpoint of like the amount of dynamic range it has. But yeah, the QC did a good job of it.
I've never played an amp that had so much low end that it was actually concerning at a certain point that like you were being physically injured. But that's what's crazy about a lot of the Dietzel amps, but especially the Herbert, is like, to me anyway, like I love the sound. I don't like the feel personally, because it feels lower gain than it is, but it sounds higher gain than it is. And it gives you this really great juxtaposition of like, the tone is just insanely powerful.
Yeah, it is a weird.
It's a unique feel and a unique sound.
A weird experience. It feels loose, sounds tight. Like
there you go. That's what I was kind of trying to say.
But like if you really dig in, like you can feel it being tight.
Yeah,
but like it's just it must be the sag characteristic or whatever you want to call it.
So good.
Yeah.
So good. Jesse says he was playing the 30-inch ether through a Herbie yesterday.
Nice.
Sick. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
If anyone who's seen that really sick lavender 30-inch ether that we posted about, that's Jesse's.
Yep.
And yeah, through the Herbert, I can only imagine how powerful that thing is. Shout out, by the way, Jesse put a dark glass preamp, so the preamp famously used on bass guitars, in that guitar. And I was skeptical, and he was like, trust. And when we got it here and played it, I was like, yo, this is sick.
Yeah,
so
it's awesome.
Good shout out, Jesse. And I want to hear it. I want to hear more of it. So we'll have to talk more about that. Mario says that's another one of the beautiful things about those modelers is that a lot of us will never be able to afford any of these amps. Yeah, dude, I can tell you straight up, when I first got into the amp thing, I always had like an amp, but when I really got into the amp thing, it was rare for me to own two at a time. I would try and score a deal or sell some gear or whatever. They are super expensive. And it is one of the things that works for this stuff is like the captures are out there and they're free. You can play all of these amps. These driftwood amp, like this driftwood stuff, you could pay someone $20 for this. Or you could just find them for free. They might not be as good, but they're there.
What's wild is, and No, I'm trying to show. I don't even know if this will show up on camera, but
It won't.
the Neural app is as simple as like when I have my phone out and it's connected via Bluetooth, I can go in and choose with my foot what foot switch I'm on, click on the amplifier, and instead of having the JCM 800, now I have the same amp that Jake is using, the Dietzel.
Oh yeah, let it rip. Through a different cab, by the way, so
Yeah.
it sounds different. But.
So that's through the Mesa Boogie 4x12, which is what I had the JCM 800 going through. And I probably could have changed that to something a bit more British, but didn't have the time. But it's that quick is kind of why I wanted to show that.
Yeah.
Is you can,
that was quick.
You're demoing a specific amp and you're listening to it and you're like, oh, you know what? Let me try this other capture. And you're on your phone and you click something else. You don't have to bend down and change anything.
Yeah. And again, everyone has their version of this, right?
Yeah.
Kemper has profiling. I don't even know what Fractal calls it, but they have it too.
It's amp matching or
Amp
something.
matching. So I don't want to come off as like a super neural shill because those other companies do things like that. And their products are great. And like almost anything else, they're excellent for certain use cases. For my money, personally, I won't even say our money, for my money, as we talked about earlier, the UI, the quality of everything, the durability, the size, the ease of use, like all of it just works for me in a way that I've never played another unit that does the same thing. And it's sick.
Yeah.
And so
agreed.
That's kind of all we have to say about it.
Yeah.
Captures are sick, or profiles, or amp matches. They're all sick. It's all sick. Digital gear rules too. We've been playing through these Marshalls for the last couple streams. So I kind of wanted to get weird with it and have some captures of those amps on the stream and also play the digital stuff because we love them both for different use cases.
Amps rule, but so does this stuff.
Yeah, it all rules. And a man who I won't dox, who is very close to these things and is an expert on them. And when I say expert, I mean capital E. This dude knows more than any of us will ever know about this stuff because he is in it. Is like, yeah, man, I love my Quad Cortex. I love it to death. It's so sick. But I have my OR 100 at home, and when I want to destroy, I just crank it up and I do it. And that's the thing, right? It's not either or. It's both and.
Yeah.
And that is, I think, the final word, which if you saw our stream on digital analog stuff, you'll know that's how we feel about it.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll do a lightning round. We'll play a little bit, play ourselves out, and then we'll peace out on the gravy train for the weekend. Kai says, random question. Is it possible to do a dog hair and rustic finishes in brighter colors?
So yes, short answer, but it depends. Specifically with,
maybe.
Well, I'm thinking specifically to the rustic open pore finish type, because in Korea, depending on the color you're thinking about, it may not be possible without purchasing a different type of finish that we can thin out to do something like that. But with the dog hair finish, with some of you may not know what that is, in our online builder, there's a dog hair section finish type where it's either a lighter colored grain filler or a darker colored grain filler with a contrasting color coat, meaning it could be a black finish but with a white grain filler. So it kind of looks like a black dog with some gray hair. Or it could be the inverse of that. It could be a white finish with black grain filler, like a cookies and cream style.
If you saw Marvin, who's a longtime friend and supporter of the brand, he posted in the Facebook discussion group the other day his dark dog hair
Diablo.
Select Custom Diablo.
Yeah.
So if you want to see what it looks like, there have been a couple builds done with it, and Marvin posted very recently. I think it was either earlier this week or late last week.
Yeah.
He posted about it if you want to see it.
Yeah, we normally do it over mahogany.
Because of that grain though.
And that's mainly what we like to do the dog hair finishes on, but we can do something similar on ash as well, but it kind of turns into something other than dog hair. At that point, it's like a ceruse finish, which we've done for like Andy from Rivers of Nile and a few other people.
Shout out to someone who makes the Herbert Mark III sound sick.
It's true. That's actually what they used on that newest album, believe it or not.
I feel like I'm falling apart. I haven't given Rivers a shout out in a second. Still probably my album of the year.
Yeah.
What a good record. But yeah, it is. So yes, in some cases is the answer. Reach out, Kyle. We'll look you up. Thank you for all the info on the QC. Do you think it's better to start with a Nano if you're not super familiar, or if you have the means, just get the QC? I would say if you have the means and you're not concerned about it, or you're not trying to do something specific that needs a very small form factor, I would say get the QC, because you're then you're not limited by anything. At that point, you can mess around with the signal chains and the routing and the everything else, and you can start simple and still have that visual UI that makes it really easy to use. So my advice would be, there's no quality difference between the two, but if it's something that you're going to use all the time and you want the tweakability and you want all of that and you have the means, I'd go full bore quad cortex. I think you'll just be happier in the long run. Plus the resale value is good for what it's worth if you don't like it. The Nano, I think if you were building something small or needed, like we use it for trade shows, there's a specific reason we have a Nano. That sort of thing is great. Or if you're doing fly dates or any of that stuff, it's just such an easy thing to use.
I would say it depends on what you're going to use it for, and it depends on how deep you like to get into units like this.
Yeah.
If you don't need a lot of bells and whistles and you just want your amp tone with a little bit of modulation and effects, the Nano might suffice.
Yeah.
But if you want to get kind of like everything Neural offers, especially with like their plugins, how they're now porting those over to the Quad Cortex, that's also something to think about. If you already own some of their plugins, that's another added value. Once again, this is not a sponsored video, I promise. But like, I think it's worth mentioning those types of things because it does add value to these units.
Yeah. Well, and it affects the everyday player who uses this stuff. Like, it's good stuff to know. We've used these units for, the full-size one for 6 or 7 years now.
Since it came out,
Since it came out. And the Nano since it came out as well. So it's like, we've really road tested, these things in every capacity that we would use them in.
Yep.
So I feel like our opinion is valid, and we're happy to give you the shout.
Yep.
So good question. Other than that, we're going to shut it down. Thanks everyone for joining us. Happy Friday. Have a great weekend.
Have a great weekend.
We do this every other Friday here on the Balaguer Guitars YouTube channel.
It's true.
Like, comment, subscribe. Check it out. We recently released some new videos, like Bo from Harm's Way. And we've seen a couple of other videos come out recently. So
playthroughs with John and Hannah from Blank Slate.
John and Hannah from Blank Slate, which, by the way, John was in the chat earlier. Shout out John Local. And Blank Slate rules. They're down in Austin. So much cool stuff. Check it out. We have a bunch more stuff planned for the YouTube channel, so keep an eye out there. But live stream every other Friday, 2:30 p.m. Eastern, here on the Balaguer Guitars YouTube channel. I have been Jake. My friends call me Jake. This has been Joe. His friends call him whatever he tells them to call him, Saint of the Unholy. And we're going to riff a little bit on some unholiness, and then we will, well, maybe, I don't know. And then we'll, and we'll see y'all next time. Thanks for hanging. Have a great weekend, everyone, and we'll see y'all soon.